Flag here, or we can all use the flag that Paul right out his window. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the
republic
for
which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right. I would like to move to accept tonight's agenda for May 19th, 2020, if I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 I still don't have the agenda, so Marissa, do we have any community comments?
We do not.
All right.
No community comment.
Oh, if there is anyone who is tuning in and wishes to do so, I guess now would be the time. Anyone? No takers.
Oh,
All right.
quite a bit, yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Jody.
What's up?
Okay.
All right. Hold on one second. I'm just waiting for this to come up.
No, not yet.
My access to the agenda is being denied.
Okay, Jody,
by
I'm emailing it to your board mail and your Yorkville mail, whichever one you can pick up that easiest.
Oh, I should be able, hold on, my access is being denied. So give me 1 second. Lance, if you have the agenda in front of you, do you want to carry on?
I have the agenda in front of me. So we have accepted the agenda for this evening. There's no community comments. We're going to go over the reports. The facility planning. Sarah, do you want to give an update from this morning's meeting?
Yes.
If not, I can.
It's fine. Did I go off?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're back. I can hear you.
Okay.
We're
It's up to you, Lance, if you want to do it. There wasn't really any huge major changes. It's
Yeah,
2019 is the Art Gallery project is close to being completed, and then we're just waiting to have the budget approved to get the next stages of the project going.
In the one project, the first one has to be completed by June 30th. They have begun that one.
Yeah.
The capital improvement project also needs to be closed out by June 30th. We've made the final payment to Sicoli, and they're working on the batting cages. Is the last thing that needs to be done there. The building condition survey, there's no change from that. It's just that it has to be submitted. We're hoping that it can be done while there are not students there and get it completed before the fall gets here. As we're all aware, we're going to be voting on a capital improvement project as part of the budget vote on June 7th. And then again, excuse me, June 9th. And just again, if that does not get approved, maybe just need to consider the way forwards for some of the projects that do need to be completed. So we'll be waiting for the June 9th vote. Patty, was there anything you wanted to add to facilities?
No, that's about it. We're just wrapping a couple things up and waiting to move on after the next budget.
The policy review committee, we met 2 weeks ago at the work session. Tonight we'll be voting on the first reading. One is a new policy 5676, which is the privacy and security for student data and teacher and principal data. We did have a student data breach policy that is incorporated in this one. We'll be voting on our first reading for deletion of that one because it's included. Most of it has to do with security and privacy of personal identifiable information of students, and also for teachers and principals, the APPRs. We will be in this policy naming Nick as the data protection officer, or again, the director of technology and data. It's really with the position, and that we're going to be publishing a parent's bill of rights for data privacy and security. And then for any contracts that are written, we have to make sure that any third-party contractor that may have access to personal identifiable information is aware of the privacy and security. And then we did our annual review for policies 8310 through 8370, dealing again with the purpose and selection of instructional materials. Textbooks, we made a minor change to that, where it used to be that we would designate the textbooks. What we're going to do now is the board will approve textbooks that are recommended by the superintendent. Also made changes to instructional material provided to students that attend non-public schools in the district, and reviewed the copyrighted materials and ensuring that our religious expression is observed and that we're aware of it in a lot of things we do, like our schedule. So those are all first readings, and our next policy meeting will be on June 2nd prior to the work session. Rudy, are you back with us yet?
Yep, I'm good. All right.
We're in the budget hearing then.
Okay, at this point, like to move on to administrative reports. Our administrative reports at the building level were submitted in writing. So tonight, let's welcome Dr. Heather Lyon.
Oh, hold on. Here we go. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. The schools are working hard on their continuity of learning, making sure that we are upholding our end of the educational bargain, if you will. And our teachers are doing an amazing job with that, led by our principals, who are really on top of things and working hard to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make this as smooth as possible for our families, their students, and our teachers. We are finalizing end of year things now and starting to think about re-entry for the next school year. So more to come on that as we get closer to next school year. Other than that, there's nothing really to report. I do want to say, though, congratulations to the teachers who are receiving tenure tonight. Congratulations, and we're so proud that you are with us. And to the students tonight who are being recognized as well, congratulations to you. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
No, thank you, Heather. Dr. Grapka.
So tonight we'll be approving the budget report card that's already been submitted. Report card is done, and after tonight, if we vote on the budget, that will get submitted. This week, well, actually last Friday, we submitted the administrative salary disclosure report to SED. Our internal audit is coming up upon completion, and how we want that presented, because they have been doing everything electronically and online. So we'll have to pick a date when that's wrapped up. Tax roll verification report is coming up for the 18-19 school year. So I will be working with our tax collector, Deb, on that. Fire safety reports are due to SED by June 1st. Paul Feathers and I and Mr. Nowaka have been working on that. That actually went very well this year, but there's going to be some changes because of the closing. as maybe you know or don't know, we have to have a certain number of fire drills and lockdowns in place. And because of the school closure, we weren't able to meet those, as most schools were not. And that's, the state expects that. So they're actually looking for some different data this year in terms of dates and times. And in the past, we kind of did a overall, on average, this is how long our drills, took. Now they're looking for more information on each specific drill. So that's fine. We'll get that done. And then, I put out a little flyer today, and you'll get another robocall. For the holiday, we're going to have to mix up our lunch plans a little bit. We'll be closed for the holiday on Monday. So this Friday, we're going to be delivering meals for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then Tuesday, we'll do Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the next week, we'll be back on our regular schedule. We are going to be serving lunches through June 26th. After that, we don't have plans to continue with lunches. Same for daycare, but the Y program, who normally does a summer youth program, will continue to do that. So if anyone is in need of daycare, the Y will still be providing it out of our buildings. And then, you'll hear a little bit more from me when we get to the budget piece.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Terry.
Well, it's good to be back with all of you via Zoom. I have a fair amount to cover with you. So just so we've been working very steadfastly as an administrative team. Jody and Lance have been on those meetings. And as I stated in my letter to the community last week, and I did get confirmation today from a meeting that I had with the Orleans-Niagara superintendent. So based on our calendar and our schedule and our superintendent's conference days and our teachers' contract, the end of the school year, in other words, the last day of instruction for students at the secondary level, that's grade 6 through 12, will definitely be June 9th. For the elementary level, it will definitely be June 10th. And our last teacher work day will definitely be June 15th. That's Monday, June 15th. Based on that, the principals are working on individual building plans and kind of building summaries that they're going to be getting out to their individual school communities, talking a little bit about how that's going to look at each of the buildings. But I can tell you that in terms of getting things out, getting personal items back to students, and then getting items back that we know that students have, i.e. technology, instruments, textbooks, things of this nature, that will take place on June 10th. That will be for letters A through L across the campus. So if a family has children in more than one building, they don't have to come back 2 different days. They can just, they can pick up the things and drop off the things on those days. So A through L on June 10th and M through Z on June 11th. And that will, again, it'll be a little bit different in each of the buildings, not much different in terms of how things will be bagged and various tables to drop things off, but it will largely look the same, and it will all be very much socially distanced, much like we have done with packet pickup days that we had either outside early in May or most recently at the end of May when we began new learning. So that should flow well, and that information is starting to gel at the buildings. And as I said, the building principals will be reaching out to their individual school communities. I'll be reminding families of these dates, and then they'll be receiving that from their individual school communities. So thankfully, a couple of things. We are now technically in phase 1 of Western New York State reopening. You can go and see what that means in terms of phase 1 at newyorkforward.gov or .org, I forget. So if all goes well, these run in 14-day cycles. So if all goes well, phase 1 would end on June 4th. So on June 4th, we would be moving into phase 2. That will require us to come back together to comply with the open meetings law. So if all goes well, our last Zoom as a board and a presentation to our school community will be on June 2nd. And that will be the work session / budget hearing. And then we would have the vote, obviously on June 9th. That will be done by absentee ballot. So as it stands right now, June 16th, which will be our next official board meeting, would be actually at campus in our boardroom. We would have to create, we could not be seated in the U. We would have to get more socially distanced. And we could have limited seating in a socially distanced manner, 6 feet apart. We would have to ask everybody to wear a mask, those kinds of things. But to comply with the open meetings law, if we get to phase 2, that would begin on June 4th, and we would have our board meeting on June 16th in the boardroom, as we've done in the past, which would be nice if we can, because we would be honoring retirees that night, and we could do that in a very socially distanced. We could only, unfortunately, have the retiree because of the size of our boardroom. Oftentimes they bring a large contingent with them, but we could only have the retirees. So we'll see how that all plays out, but we do have all of the gifts and awards and all those kinds of things for the retirees. So that Monday, which I believe is June 8th, hang on one second. Yes, Monday, June 8th, if we get into phase 2, we would start to have administration, clerical, our schools would start to open. We would start to have folks back on, our 12-month employees would start to come back to work. And we're shooting for June 8th. We're going to see how this all plays out, but we need to get much as we would have, we would have 12-month employees working or taking vacation. We will get back to work, hopefully, by June 8th, if we get into phase 2. Talks about administrative support and those kinds of things. So we're hopeful on that, and we'll continue to stay updated with where we are with the New York Forward and looking for guidance from SED. So I forwarded to you the administration, and I'll forward it to the board. There's a very good draft of what opening will look like, reopening for schools. So we're going to obviously start small with simply just our 12-month employees, and we have to do that in a very socially distanced manner. But once we start to move into the summer, according to my Orleans Niagara superintendent's meeting today, we are going to, apparently SED is going to have guidance out by mid-July, which seems a little late, but mid-July they should have guidance out as to what we can look forward to and expect in terms of the recommendations and the requirements for opening of school in the fall. So we'll be waiting to hear on that. In terms of senior class activities, we've got a number of things in the works, but obviously the biggest one is graduation. And so we're expected to have some guidance from in Tahoe towards the end of this week on graduations. At Lewiston, I had a Zoom meeting yesterday with, actually a conference call with Sonia Clark, the executive director at Art Park, along with Brad Rolls. And we are at Lewiston-Porter, we are officially going to push graduation back to that now newly reserved date at Art Park on August the 5th. The reason that we're going to do that is because if you sparse out these 14-day increments, we would be then in phase 4 by that period of time. Now, I'm kind of not in alignment with the other superintendents in Orleans Niagara. I would say the majority of the other schools are either doing a virtual graduation online, or they're doing some sort of a car type graduation where the students will drive up to the front of the school and get their diploma. I'm just not comfortable with that. And so unless I hear differently from the community about August the 5th, which is I believe a Wednesday night, I would like to at least, we could always do that. We can always do some sort of an outdoor type of thing, but I would like to at least have the opportunity to get to phase 4 and see what potential we might have to have some kind of a limited gathering. So, you know, I guess I'll throw it out to the board. There are at least 3 members that have seniors graduating this year, and just your thoughts on that. I mean, we could definitely do a drive-up graduation. I just don't, to me, it seems so impersonal to have them drive by, hand them their diploma, and that's the end of it. We could, as I say, if most of the seniors are comfortable and the families are comfortable, and I know that the Brad Rolls and the senior class advisors have a survey out and are talking with the senior class, I prefer to hold off until August 5th. It gives us time to hopefully get into phase 4. It gives us time to hopefully have some sort of a limited gathering using Art Park. And what Sonia has said is, much like Grand Island is using Beaver Island State Park, and they're going to have a stage set up at Beaver Island State Park, and they're going to pull in, I guess, in early July and that sort of thing. Sonia Clark says, listen, if we can't use the inside of Art Park, then we can always use the stage and have have the stage set up in a parking lot, and there's multiple parking lots at Art Park. She said we could even have the larger painted parking lot, and we could do something there. So that's what I would like to do. I think that's our best opportunity to have a more personalized graduation ceremony for our seniors, and that's the direction I'd like to go. It is in a bit of a different mode. Most of the other schools in Orleans Niagara, again, are either going to have something on the computer, or they're going to have some sort of a drive up, and they're going to do that at the end of June. And you know, that basically they're saying that's it for the for their experience with the seniors. And I'd like to hold off until August 5th. So I wanted to have a brief conversation. We can talk more about it on June 2nd as well. But if anybody has any thoughts on that, please let me know what you're thinking right now. Okay. Then that's
Well, I was just waiting to see if one of the other ones wanted to talk first, but my thought is I love the idea of having a regular graduation in August, but I also feel like something needs to be done to punctuate the end of June and allow these kids to feel graduated, because, you know, social media is such a big part of their lives, and they're seeing all the stuff that all these other schools are doing, and they're seeing all the celebrating that is going on around the country at various different degrees. So I was wondering if we could somehow hybrid that, if we can do a virtual graduation type thing with some kind of slideshow, maybe get the classes into the presidents and whatever to video their speeches, you know, make some kind of video for them also, because we're going to want those end of June photos with their caps and gowns, and whether they're in our front yards or on a stage, right? So, I mean, I think that the on-time portion has some meaning. There's going to be kids who leave. There's kids who are joining the service and going places, and they're not even going to be here in August. So I feel like there should be a punctuation marking at the end of June when school is done, but it doesn't have to be the whole thing. And then also come together, whoever can, in August. What do you think of that? Rick, I don't want to overdo it on some cases because because I'm very sensitive to the fact that I don't want to memorialize these kids. I mean, they're just getting a delayed graduation celebration, or their school year has been interrupted, but we don't want to make too much of a big deal out of it. But at the same time, I just don't feel like we can do nothing in June.
Yeah, well, we do have June 12th, Friday, June 12th is a senior class day. There's going to be a parade around town. There's going to be a bit of a ceremony in kind of the IEC parking lot, depending on what we can do. And then we do have, we are still holding on to July the 9th. It's an evening where we have the transit drive-in. We're going to have a kind of a Newport night there. It's open now, and we are going to hopefully have the senior class slideshow on the big screens at the drive-in. So there's going to be a couple of events, but in terms of the students are going to get their caps and gowns on either the 10th or the 11th, depending on they're going to get their yearbook and their caps and gowns and so on the 12th, what we were hoping to do is we were asking them to wear them for the class parade and those kinds of things. So yeah, we could take some photos and, start to get that up and displayed on the website. You're going to start to see senior class pictures being scrolled from the yearbook on our website. We just got the file from Carrie Popilski, so we're going to be working on that. So we will have that July 12th, that Friday, July 12th, it's going to be a really nice activity. We're looking at that July 9th evening. And on that July 12th, we can possibly do something with their caps and gowns, take some photos and those kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want them to feel graduated in June, because some of them are going to just go off then, and we're not going to see them again as much as we want to in August. I want them to feel graduated. You know what I mean?
And that part of that is on, the parents, it's what you make of it. If you want to,
There it is.
So, I think that everything that, like Paul was just talking about, the class day, which the Lewiston police are picking up and everything that's going on for them right now, I hope that they feel more graduated than probably any class we've ever had, with everything between the Adopt a Senior stuff and the signs and everything that we're doing. I mean, I really hope that these kids realize how much we appreciate what they've had to go through and what they've lost this year. And, part of that too is really going to be the responsibility of their own families to really celebrate them. And I know that everybody will.
So yeah, it'll be, we have a meeting on, Brad Rolls has a meeting scheduled with senior class advisors and the counselors and myself and on Thursday, Betty. So I'll bring up your thoughts with regard to, for those kids. I would like to know specifically, and we'll see what has come of the interactions with the senior class and the advisors. Now that we've kind of are moving towards a more official date of a possible ceremony type on August 5th, I'd love to know how many students would be available or unavailable, and hopefully they could give us some heads up in terms of their availability for that day and that evening. So we'll make that part of the conversation on Thursday in terms of knowing specifically how many of the 168 students that we have graduating, how many would be available for that August 5th date. I mean, it's basically 4 or 5. It's about it's about a 6-week delay in terms of when the actual graduation was. Which, as you mentioned, Betty, there are some students who go off to the military. There are some students who.
There's some students who skip graduation because they just don't want to. I mean, I'm not saying everyone has to be there.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate what you said. So let me bring it up. It'll be part of our conversation on Thursday, and hopefully I'll have greater detail to report back to you on the 2nd of June then. Okay. All right. All right. I think that's it for me for my report. Jody.
Okay. At this point, we're going to move on to recognitions. And our first is we would like to recognize the teachers who we are presenting this evening with tenure.
So I'm really, really proud to present really three fine educators who have made a tremendous impact, very positive impact here at Lewiston-Porter and their school communities. In your packets, you had a chance to take a look at their tenure recommendations from their building principals. And we're just so very proud to present them to you. First, if you'll see on your agenda, we have Rachel Smith is being recommended for tenure tonight. She's a special educator who has done some really fine work at our middle school and intermediate school during the course of her time with us. Very excited to, there she is, I see her now officially. Hi, Rachel, how are you?
Hello, good, how are you?
Congratulations, it's a huge step in a person's career to tenure, and we're very excited. Rachel would have also been our modified softball coach this year. Unfortunately, she didn't get a chance to do that, so we're hopeful that she'll do that next year. But she has done a really excellent job with the young people involved in our special education program, and I'm just very pleased and honored to present her to us. Congratulations, Rachel.
Thank you very much. I couldn't be happier to be part of our Lewiston-Porter family.
Excellent, thank you. The two others, I'll kind of group them together, although they are a bit of a team at the elementary level. So as you know, we have had some difficulty finding librarians, and so we kind of went in a different direction and found two really solid individuals who, while they're getting their tenure in the tenure area of reading, they have really actually functioned as teachers on special assignments, as our library media specialists, our tech liaisons for both of those buildings. And I'm speaking very specifically about Heather Zielinski and Rebecca Metz, now Rebecca Comiskey. They just have done an amazing job with regard to not just giving the kids an unbelievable library experience, but then really bringing reading alive through technology and really helping to develop and integrating technology in both of our PEC and IEC. Both of them, as you know, are deeply involved in our One District, One Book, and quite frankly, we could not do One District, One Book without both of them. They do an amazing job in terms of video production and all of those kinds of things. I couldn't be more excited to recommend both of them. So I know we've got Heather and Becky on. If you want to unmute them, and Heather, if you want to say a couple words.
Yes, absolutely. I am just so thankful, and I'll echo what Rachel said, just so proud and humbled to be a Lancer and to have the board support these 4 years for One District, One Book, and just so happy and so proud to be part of the Lewiston community.
And I'll unmute, or yeah, Rebecca's unmuted. I would like to say that it's a little bittersweet for me because I am getting very old. I used to pal around with Rebecca's dad so many years ago, and just to make that connection. So, Rebecca.
Yeah, I absolutely love working at Lewiston. All the staff, the students, the family, the community. It's really an amazing school district to work in, and I love my position and everything about it. So thank you again.
Awesome. Really proud to offer to the board the tenure recommendations for Rachel, Heather, and Rebecca. So excited for you guys, and congratulations, and welcome to the tenured life of a Lewiston teacher. We're excited to have you with us for sure.
We are very proud to accept your recommendations. So congratulations, Rachel and Rebecca. I wish we could all be together for this, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we would have cake.
Yeah, we usually
I know.
do. Usually
We
do.
will get one really big cake for, so.
And usually get an apple too, so I'll have apples for you.
You gotta range. All right.
So-
Also with us via Zoom, we have our students who are here. Hold on, I gotta zoom back up and see where I'm going here. With the Scholastic Achievement Recognition, and this goes out every year to the top 3 students in the graduating class. So in the class of 2020, it is Gabriel Steiner, Eric Smith, and Olivia Kissio.
So I'm very excited and honored. Nick, if you want to just pull up our, I'll start with Olivia first. So every year the SARD, the Scholastic Achievement Recognition Dinner, occurs, and there's a lovely picture of the bison that the students will ultimately receive across the border in Canada and can't get into the United States, those poor little bison. So the Scholastic Achievement Recognition Dinner recognizes the top 3 students in the class of 2020 in every high school in Western New York. It is sponsored by the Erie Niagara School Superintendents Association, which I'm a proud member of. And it really is, it's a wonderful dinner. And it's something that I have gone to now going back to 2000. So this would have, I believe, been my 20th Scholastic Achievement dinner. It's something that I enjoy. First of all, it's great to see so many wonderful colleagues, and they're so proudly displaying their students and showing off their students to Western New York. But then it's just a joy to be there with our students from Lewiston-Porter and our school leadership and board leadership. That's really, we come to celebrate what we're here about. So our first, number 3 in our class was Olivia Kissel. Olivia is a member of the National Honor Society, and she's also a member of the Science Honor Society. She was the volleyball captain and a member of Key Club. I know that she was involved. I had some time to spend with her at UB when she was honored by the Confucius Institute, so I was very proud of her for that. Olivia plans to study biomedical or aerospace engineering. I know she's on. Olivia, hi, how are you? Good to see you. Can you hear us?
Yep, how are you?
Good, Olivia. Congratulations. We're so very proud of you. Have you decided on a college yet? Can you hear us? I think we're having some technical difficulties with Olivia.
She's not muted. She should be able to talk.
I think it's just her. Internet. Well, Olivia, we're so very, very proud of you, and I wish we could have had time to spend with you at the beautiful dinner. But congratulations. Congratulations on your outstanding representation of Lewiston-Porter over your years with us. And we're excited for you, and we wish you so much luck and success in the future. Next up is our salutatorian, and that is Eric Smith. Eric is the salutatorian of the class of 2020. He is a member of the National Honor Society and the Spanish National Honor Society. He was the swim team captain. He is the Lancer Council president. He's president of the band. He's the class of 2020 vice president, and he's also the Key Club president. So he's very presidential. Eric is a very presidential guy. He plans to study chemical engineering, and I have come to know Eric very well over his years at Lewiston-Porter. He is a member of my Superintendent Student Advisory Council. I've also had tremendous opportunity to travel with Eric internationally, as he has represented us at the International Super Science Fair as part of the Super Science Network. So we're so very, very proud of Eric, and I personally am, because I've come to know him so well over the years and know his family so well. So I know he's on, and I know his mom is on, but Eric, if you wanted just to say a few words.
Hello.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you all for taking this opportunity to thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Hey, where are you going to school next year? I wasn't sure.
UB. I'm going to UB for chemical engineering.
Great choice. I mean,
Very
you'll be great.
exciting. Yeah.
A number of levels myself, so awesome choice. And in terms of the School of Engineering, you couldn't ask for a better experience. So wish you much luck and success. And thank you so much for all that you've done for Lewiston-Porter over the years too, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Our last individual, and he is our valedictorian. So he was the #1 student in the class of 2020 in terms of grade point average, and that is Gabriel Steiner. Gabe is a member of the National Honor Society. He's also a member of the Science National Honor Society. He is involved in our band, our jazz band, and our saxophone quartet. And Gabe plans on studying chemistry at Niagara University. He's an outstanding young man who is very confident. He emails me often, giving me ideas about where we should be at with the class of 2020. So I'm greatly appreciative of his communications over the past few weeks and months. Gabe, are you on with us? I didn't see him on there. I don't think he is, but we would like to offer Gabe our sincere congratulations. I will let Eric and Olivia know that your bisons are on the way, and once they come in, I'll make a personal trip out to the house to drop those off to you. So we're excited for you about that. So congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
All right. It for our Achievement Recognition Award honorees, and we're very proud of them. So I'll turn it back over to Jody.
All right. At this point, we'll move on to Board of Education comments and/or.
And they're always up first when I actually am a little bit prepared this time. I really want to recognize all of the students at Lew-Port for, shall we say, persevering through this crisis time. You probably expect that your parents and teachers and administrators and local government officials know how to handle these things, but I think we're all learning together, and I really appreciate all have continued to be students at Lewiston-Porter, even though we're not at Lewiston-Porter at this time. I want to thank Nick Hill for keeping the communication channels open, and everybody for learning how to. You can't imagine that that's been an easy process. Especially want to thank Mr. Kasseri and Dr. Grupka for, shall we say, operating without a map and keeping focused on helping our students and families, along with dealing with the uncertainty of budgets and the future. And one day we're opening, the next day we're closing. And it's very amazing how flexible and ready to handle crisis you guys have been. And finally, I want to thank the seniors for being brave and focusing and getting through this year. And I know you seniors will be the future of perhaps the next crisis that comes. You'll be the ones leading us through because you'll know how to handle it. So those are my thoughts for today.
I'll be there to consult. I'll have a consultant visit.
Thank you, Anne. Danielle.
I would echo everything that Anne said, that all of the leaders in the district have been phenomenal, adapting to this continuous day-to-day change and, you know, what pops up, and we don't know where things are going to go. Like to recognize the seniors as well for what they've, you know, had to get up to keep everybody safe. I think it's important that they know that we're thinking about them. I am so happy to see the tenure of Rachel, Becky, and Heather. All of them are just outstanding. They're absolutely outstanding. So that makes me super happy to know that, you know, Lew-Port's going to be their permanent home now, hopefully. And then congratulations to the 3 seniors with their Scholastic achievement. That's
Okay,
all.
thank you. Sarah Wachter.
Uh-oh. Are you frozen?
Sarah? All right, let's move on to Betty and we'll come back to Sarah.
Well, congrats, obviously, to the top 3 and the entire class of 2020. And congratulations to our newly tenured teachers. I know you guys really hard at tenure and your hard work. I want to thank Patty for staying with us for another 3 years because you're doing such a fabulous job in your new contract tonight, and that's fantastic. And we are going to be talking about our budget. And one of the things that I want to just kind of point out to everyone that while we keep saying school is closed, that's more of a legal term because school's not really out, it's just remote. And everybody's been doing such a wonderful, hard job of keeping it together and keeping that continuation of learning going. I want to make sure that the community understands that while you're hearing in the news school is closed, school is still going on, and that budget is still being spent because school is still going on, and it's going to have to go on into next as well. So in some cases, things have been actually more expensive than they if school was just regularly open, and they certainly have been a lot more work for everyone involved. So I want to just thank everyone for all that hard work, both those who are working in the building and those who are working remotely.
Okay, thank you. Gemma?
Okay, hi everyone. As always, appreciate everyone's hard work, and congratulations to the tenured teachers, and congratulations to Gabe, Eric, and Olivia. All the best to them.
Thank you. Did we get Sarah back? Sarah Wachter?
No.
Still missing? Okay. Colonel Dickinson.
But on behalf of Sarah, I would like to tell everyone that just the outstanding team effort from everyone. Jody and I get to sit in on the weekly updates, but as everybody's mentioned, it starts with the students, the faculty, administration, the staff, getting the lunches out, and it's just been an amazing effort the last 6 weeks or so. I believe that we're going to have a sort of a meet the candidates night. Jody can say yes on June 2nd, just so they can introduce themselves at our work session as we have done in the past. It'll just be on Zoom. I want the tenured teachers and the students to know that I will be eating cookies for you as soon as we complete our meeting here tonight. I do have chocolate chip that I could share with all of you remotely here. And then don't forget this weekend is Memorial Day. So just like everything, there's not a lot of ceremonies going on, but don't forget those that ultimately gave their lives for our country. That's all.
Thanks, Lance. Sarah, are you back?
Oh, Crystal Gianarello, she's organized the adopting senior events, and it just fills my heart with.
Fortunately, Sarah, you got a bad connection there, kid.
Not working.
Yes.
Get Files and Spectrum on the line.
All right, we will try to come back to Sarah for comments, and not really sure what to
Oh,
do.
she's back. She's back, Jody.
Okay, Sarah, take it away.
No, it's frozen again. Her picture's up, but I thought she was back. Never mind.
All right.
Sorry, Sarah.
Well, I will add a couple things, and hopefully we'll get her before we move on to district operations. Just really echoing what everyone said, congratulations to our top 3 students. It was unfortunate we didn't get to go to the dinner. That's one of my favorite banquets of the year. So congratulations to Eric and Olivia and Gabriel. I also want to give a shout out. We're giving shout outs to the class of 2020. Shout out to the class of 2016, who the past 2 weekends have missed their graduations. A little close to my heart because I was supposed to be at one this weekend. So we have alumni who are missing their opportunities to walk across the stage to the 4 years that they've done, or the 2 years if they were to class of 2018 who completed their 2-year degrees. So please keep all of them in your thoughts as
Can you
well.
hear? I host, I guess. I don't know. Can you hear? Anybody?
They took and bit over the past 4 years. So, Sarah, do we have you back?
Oh no. Wait, what was it? Where's question mark? I don't know. I don't know what you just did. What did you? Did anyone hear me?
I know. I'm concerned about how she's going to
If
be
she
able to
could give a
vote.
thumbs up, maybe when she's voting.
You could do that. Yeah.
Operations, and if you have an issue with Sarah with voting, we can just stop me at any time.
All right.
I'm going to ask, just because we're having some a little bit of technical difficulties. How about instead of everyone jumping into second, Lance usually will jump in. Lance, maybe if you can jump into second, and then everyone else can vote, that might make it a little easier on Marissa.
Sounds good.
I got it.
All right, I would like to move to accept M1, which is minutes from our April 21st regular meeting, if I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 I'm going to take
Any
that as a
opposed?
6-0 because Sarah can't vote and I can't see her with her thumb up.
Sarah mentioned she would vote in the comments if you guys could see that, and she just
Okay.
voted yes.
Okay, perfect.
In the chat. In the chat.
Yeah, if you open up the chat, you can see.
Then we will move.
Okay.
I would like to move to approve M2 minutes from our May 5th regular meeting, if I may have a second. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yes. Any opposed? So carried. I would like to move to for financial operations, NF1 through NF4, if I may have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? So carried. Would like to move to approve NA1, policy revision, acceptance of the first reading as listed, if I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? So carried. Like to move to approve NA2, policy revision, deletion of the first reading for 7243, if I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? So carried. Like to move to approve NA3, approval of the employment agreement for the Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services. I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Better not be anyone opposed.
Thank you.
So carried. Patty, thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you for having me. It has really been a pleasure, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. We're gonna make it happen.
You make a lot of it happen. I'd like to move to approve NA4 approval. Speaking of things Patty makes happen, I'd like to move to approve NA4 approval of the 2020-2021 proposed budget. If I may have a second. Any discussion? Dr. Grubka.
Well, I have a short PowerPoint if you want to take a few minutes, and we can go over the budget, the contingent budget, and the tax levy.
Okay.
So if you want to do that now, or if you want to do it at the end a little bit later, I could do either.
Might as well do it now.
Yeah, they're pretty concise. It just so why don't you go
3
ahead?
slides. Nick, let's see. Share screen. Oh, okay. So basically what you're looking at is just a snapshot of our tri-part budget. So the budget that we're proposing is $49,092,660. We are required to present the budget broken down into the administrative, which is really all of our administrative team plus everything that happens at central office, including the supplies, the board, all of from a leadership perspective. The program, which is the educational program, books, technology, all of our psychologists, social workers, really the things that are directed towards student and student learning. And then the capital component, which of course is our capital debt, but it also includes taking care of our buildings. So that would include facilities, the cost of insurance is broken up among the three, a cost of benefits. So if you take a look at what that looks like, and that's why I did the pie chart, it really is important to see that the majority of our funds really are spent where they should be on our program. You don't really want to see the administrative piece go over 10%, and we are under that. And I'm happy to say that we're right where we need to be. You know, if I could do anything, maybe I would move the capital a little bit down, but you know, it's so important that our buildings are safe and that they're clean and that we have good facilities for our children and our community. So I'm really happy with this as an outcome. So if you can go to the next slide. Oh, can I do that? I could do that. A contingency budget. So when you look at the budget that we presented originally, that is not our dream budget. That really, we took about $1.5 million out of that budget to get where we were. We cut five teacher aide positions through attrition, 1 cleaning position, and we cut really 6 LPUT positions, all through attrition. But significant cuts, people that we would have liked to replace in positions we would have liked to fill. We cut back on staff development, we cut back on technology. I took fund balance out of a couple other budget codes. We really are putting forth a very, very tight budget to get there. If we go to a contingency budget, which means we have no increase to the tax levy, we're talking about another $700,000 cut from the budget. What that would look like, and this is not written in stone, we'll have time to talk about it, but what we're looking at to get that additional out, we're out of any extra funds that we can contribute to that. We'd be looking at all furniture, fixtures, and equipment, all enrichment, all extracurricular activities, cuts to sports and athletic programs, elimination of the capital outlay, 1 FTE administrator, and community ed. One of the things about a contingency budget is the contingency budget, you can't have more than 10% of your budget be administrative. So that puts us in a really difficult position from that perspective as well. In a contingency budget, you are not allowed to purchase any furniture, fixtures, or equipment that are not a safety issue. So it would be very difficult to move forward with this. And if we had to, we'd have to, but it's really critical at this point that this budget passes. I think we've put forward a very minimal increase when you think about budget to budget. Budget to budget, this is a 1.25% increase. When you think about the cost of just increasing benefits, which benefits alone were at 8.6, I think that we've done a lot to take money out of this budget. So I'll go on to the next. Oh, can you go to the next slide for me, Nick? So what does our budget mean for the tax rates? So if we look at it, and this is an increase of 2.625 on the levy, and that is within the 2% tax cap, so we don't need the supermajority for this. But in Lewiston, you're looking at a 60-cent increase per, and in Porter, a 5-cent increase per thousand. We've had this conversation over the years, and what happens is as houses are bought and sold, it does change the property value and it changes the equalization rates. Lewiston's equalization rate continues to drop, and they are at a 58% equalization rate, and Porter is in the 60s. So what you'll see is their increase, their tax rate increase is a little bit based on the equalization, but as your equalization changes, your STAR threshold also changes. So their STAR exemption went down. If we went to contingency and there was no increase to the taxes based on what we levy, so if there was a 0 increase to the levy, Lewiston would still see a substantial increase in their tax rate because of the STAR reduction and because of the equalization rate. So some of this, of course, is due to the levy, but some of it is just due to the property values and how they're assessed. So questions on this, because this gets kind of complicated. This is the equalization and STAR is out of our control. Those are assessed by Niagara County and the state. So that's all I really wanted to share with you on this. In case you had questions.
Okay.
Patty, is
Anyone-
there
any further
still
discussion?
things up in the air from the state as far as the state contributions and things?
Well,
Is that still undetermined or?
Well, so ERS and TRS, which are the retirement, are based on okay with that. They're still looking at quarterly adjustment periods. The first quarter was supposed to have ended the 15th of this month, and we heard nothing, which I think was a good sign. But there still will be 2 more quarterly adjustment periods, and we could get a deduction mid-year. That has happened in the past, not in many years, but it's not off the table.
I think we're going to hear something tomorrow from Robert Mujica, who is the governor's budget director, in terms of where they're going with this. So we may hear something tomorrow.
Okay.
So to answer your question, and yes, we could see the way that the governor has set up the budget this year. What he's been allowed to do by the legislature is there are the 3 measurement periods, as you mentioned, and at any one of those, they could, based on revenue of the state, take money away from any, all of the 700 schools. We have no idea what that might look like. If it would be a straight percent straight across the board, if they will come up with a formula, and, kind of did with gap elimination or perhaps with the pandemic adjustment. We don't really know what that would look like. So that was taken as much as possibly could during the budget, that we may be looking at kind of the unprecedented position of having state aid taken away from us at different periods, mid-year of next year.
Yeah. Okay.
Did that about sum it up, Patty?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So we don't know. I think the budget that we put forward takes into consideration, we don't want to have, have to have mid-year layoffs, depending on what those cuts look like. I think we've been as forward thinking as possibly can, and we know that next year is going to be very difficult, and we've done everything we can to minimize that effect to our students and to our faculty and staff.
And not to throw another scary piece into this whole in my call today with the Orleans Niagara superintendent. So Bob Lowry, who is the lobby guru at NISCUS, New York State Council for School Superintendents, he indicated in an interview today with WGRZ that they have given no indication as to if they'll give schools an opportunity for a revote. So generally what happens is you have opportunity to revote prior to moving to contingency. And his statement today was that if budgets go down, if 20% or more of budgets go down, they will possibly think about a revote. But if it's less than 20%, they're just going to push budgets right to contingency. So, case, I don't even, that may not even be legal, but that was the conversation that was I heard today. So we really hopefully need to have folks return those ballots and return those ballots.
Okay. I had a second. So all in favor of
Yes.
approving NH
Yes.
2020 budget? Yes. Any opposed? So carried. I'd like to move to accept NA5, approval of the 2021 property tax report card. If I may have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? So carried. I'd like to move on to pupil personnel. I'd like to move to approve MP1, recommendations for CSE placement and amendments. If I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? So carried. I'd like to move to approve, no, excuse me, we didn't have any CPSE. I'd like to move to approve our personnel consent agenda. If I may have a second. Just a quick discussion, just to throw it in. Congratulations again to Rachel, Rebecca, and Heather. Our consent agenda tonight is granting tenure to those 3 wonderful and well-deserving teachers. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? So carried. All right. At this point, then, I would like to move to adjourn. Unless anyone had anything else for the good of the order. Anyone?
No, can you hear me now?
Yes. Sarah's back.
Sarah.
Comment.
I'd like to thank my tech crew for getting me back up and running. Anyway, everybody else covered things, but I just wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to Crystal Justiana Riddle. She's the one who organized the Adopt a Senior, and so it just fills my heart to see such generosity from the Lewiston-Porter community. So I just didn't want to let tonight go without thanking her, because it's a huge undertaking. But congratulations to everybody receiving tenure. Congratulations to our top seniors. And as always, I just want to say thank you to our teachers, administration, and staff. We all rise to the occasion. And then I still want to give out well wishes to our parents who are staying the course with virtual education, because I'm on the lucky end. I got 2. So thank you for sticking with your youngsters. So that's it. Thank you.
Great. Sarah, I think we should echo what you said just about Crystal, who started that Adopt a Senior. That kind of took on a life of its own, but it was just all of the program, the things that have just kind of bubbled up through the community. People who are from the moment that this started. Well, how can I bring people together? How can I get people, to enjoy being out, from the bear hunts to the tying green ribbons to the, people dropping off food and everything you can imagine. This community has really come together. So I think that, a shout out to everyone. And like you said, especially to all of our teachers and our parents and our kids who have been put in a position that they never thought that they would be in. And, 10 weeks in, this is getting hard. You're starting to see the cracks around the edges with, with your kids and with everyone you love. It's really difficult. And as we're transitioning back to whatever the new normal is going to be, it's not making it any easier. So I think a big shout out to everyone. So thank you, Sarah. All right. On that note, I'll move to adjourn. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
We are so adjourned, and we will meet up again on the 2nd of June. And as Lance mentioned, we're going to get our 4 board candidates to present a little bit about themselves, as we gotten in kind of the tradition of doing at our meeting leading up to the election. So we will see Annika, Jennifer, Charlotte Hipsman, and our own Danielle Mullen present to us on June 2nd. And everybody, as soon as you get your ballots, get them back in and get everyone, to make sure that they practice their democratic process and right, and vote in our election and for our budget.
Get off your best intention and get out and vote.
All right. Hey, everyone, good night, and hopefully we'll see each other next.
Night.
Good night. Thank you.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.